Qu'est-ce qu'on nous a fait?
All right. So start recording now. Hi, everybody. My name is Alex.
And my name is Don.
This is Wilfredo Morales.
And this is StageCraft, and we're joined this week by...
Kinda Evil. It's me. Oh, wow. It's me, Amanda.
Amanda's here.
Dove.
Yeah, let's go around and everyone say their name. Let's do a roll call. Roll call.
And tell me what you play.
Hello, Nolan present. I play guitar.
This is Mason Henry. I'm a bass player.
I'm Christopher. I play the drums.
Should I say my name again?
That's who you are.
Why not?
All right, I'm Amanda, and I sing, and I play rhythm guitar, and sometimes keys.
Does anybody else sing along with Amanda?
Yes.
I shout occasionally.
Okay.
And Christopher.
I sing
Yeah,
to
Christopher.
myself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Without
not
a
into a microphone, but yeah.
Oh, on Death by Diamonds, you do a little third part harmony there.
It's true.
That's great.
If I knew
That's
what a
great.
third was, it's just a third person, right? Not a.
That's right. Third part harmony.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
what-
were
that's what
part of the
thirds
New
mean.
Christie Minstrels, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Amanda, I've always wanted to ask you, because you've seen a lot of bands, what makes a good show?
Wow, you really put me on the spot. Okay, what makes a good show? For me, I want to be transported. I want to feel something from the band, whatever emotion it is. Even if I hate the band, you know, I can come away saying that I felt something. Whereas if you make me feel just like lukewarm, it's kind of like food. If I go to the restaurant and it's just like meh, and there's nothing to really write home about, that makes me angrier than if I hated the food, because at least I had a good story to tell.
Don't be boring.
Yeah, don't be boring. Because I think there's always some kind of thing I can pull out from a performance from like a artist perspective. Even if I don't like the music, maybe I liked something they did like on the stage to get crazy and engage the crowd.
Right, because it's all a show.
Yeah.
And boring's at the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, they're done with it. Right.
Yeah, I just want you to perform for me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be entertained. That's right.
Not dancing enough. Gets you kicked. There you go. Wearing too many clothes too.
Whoa.
Say no more, fans.
That's my move. I get very sweaty, and so I just have to disrobe.
I think
Your
nudity
move?
is something that could be included in a lot more things in life, not just in performance, but especially in performance, but nudity across the board.
For sure.
Not for bands that are older.
You don't think? I think everybody wants to see somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get back to that.
Yeah.
There's,
Became gauche. And
let's not body shame. There's some everybody has a tuck or a fold that maybe somebody's into. Yeah.
Would you want to see ZZ Top naked?
Beards would cover.
how far the
Beards would
beards
cover
covered
most
up.
of
It's
everything.
yeah, they have like the mermaid
Dawn.
hair, except that it
Yeah.
covers in front where it's.
Whatever happened to the nude theater in the 70s?
Well, that
I
went
think-
away with streaking. Yeah,
Don, though, this is like the CCO, you know.
exactly.
1 out of 10
Yeah, yeah,
odds. You might get someone that likes to see the nudity.
yeah, I guess so. But then again, you lose all the other. For a show, I'm not so sure it works that way. You know, it may work at parties, but not at a show. You are listening to StageCraft with Kinda Evil here.
When was the last time you were naked on stage, sir?
I've yet to give the pleasure.
Has anyone here ever been naked on stage recently in the last 10 years?
Christopher's half
Christopher
naked.
gets a good half going.
Mostly unclothed, yeah.
Okay.
He uncircumcises his torso.
I don't think.
Or he circumcises.
What a visual.
I'm sorry, what?
He circumcises the torso.
Keep saying that word.
Explain the analogy.
Yeah, I'm
Take
not.
off the shirt.
Inconceivable.
So when you take off clothing, do you refer to it as circumcising something?
It's the foreskin
Everybody
of the
else.
outfit.
Yes. You never.
I'm circumcising my torso.
My big move is cutting my turtleneck off.
Well, I think for drummers, that's. I don't think it's that extravagant or yeah. I mean, drummers do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, drummers can go down to almost like a banana hammock, and it doesn't seem completely out of place.
Right.
We're behind our instrument as well too, so we're a bit
That's fair.
more discreet when.
So you think being seated has something to do with the amount of clothes that you're allowed to take off?
Yeah.
You could almost be naked back there.
I don't even know if it's really. I compare drumming to dancing more than it is like a musical instrument. It's really not the same. I'm not like playing the keys and remembering the notes and that kind of thing. It's more akin to dance with rhythm, and especially on the kit, because you're moving all of your limbs.
I don't know any of the names of the drums. Some of the drums have
Tom, one's named Tom.
There are a couple of Toms.
I think I don't know. I guess I always liked very musical drummers, as like Phil Collins and that kind of stuff, where it's just like was always kind of playing to a melody rather than just like back there showing off all the time. I mean, Phil Collins, like pop Phil Collins, not like heavy 70s Genesis Phil Collins. He's incredibly good, incredibly amazing drummer for like all of the prog stuff that was happening. But then I feel like he just took that and made like incredible pop songs in the 80s with what he knew. And I don't know.
plus the Tarzan song.
And Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, Phil, you don't have to go that hard, man. It's just like, it's a Disney movie, bro.
I'm going to break in. You are listening to StageCraft, and we're here with Kinda Evil, the whole band.
So
I have to say that, because I often think that we don't identify our guests as much as we should. Because, people listen on the radio. It's not like it's TV where they got little bobbleheads over. This is the bass player. This is the drummer.
I'll just say this is every time I start to talk, I'll just say this.
Yeah, every time you break in. As a bass player, I'm going to have to say...
As Mason Henry, the bass player.
Macaroni and cheese.
What's the opinion of the bass player?
Word on the low end comes, yeah.
Oh, damn, that's...
I think so. The other day, I thought I knew this band well enough because they had been on the show before, and I was kind of half kidding, but then they took offense, and it ended up being kind of like a funny 20 minutes. So I'll just ask you straight up. I said to them, I was like, "So tell me, what's your draw?"
Oh.
And they got all like fluffy about it because they thought I think they thought I was being serious, and I was like, "No, I don't really give a shit what your draw is, But if I'm sure you've been asked some version of that, like when you've been booking shows, right? Like how many people can you bring out?
Yeah.
Amanda suffers that.
What would you say? What do you
So-
answer? How do you answer?
It depends on the venue, and also depends on the lineup. I try really hard now when we book local shows, especially to get high drawing acts with us, so we can at least. Well, now that I work at the Pocket, I know kind of like they want to see a certain number based on their capacity. I haven't been asked outright in quite some time. The last time, I don't know if I should identify the venue.
I can bleep it out later.
All right. Well, we got asked by some venue in DC,
Sure.
And their cap, fake cap, they have
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
they
cap is cap.
Are you talking about bleep bloop?
yeah bleep bloop the bleep bloop bloop.
Oh,
They-
in Bleepland?
They said that their cap was like 120, 150 or something, but half of that is upstairs where no one can hear or see you.
They're counting the kitchen as well.
Yeah. So I gave them I think 70 or 80 for that show. And we did it.
Yeah.
So I was like, we met our draw. So now you know that when we come back, we're going to hold our promise.
I think it depends on the venue. Because
That's what I'm saying. It depends on venue.
It also depends on the venue. Is like the draw you'll get or that we'll get, because in my experience, when it's a better venue, like we'll pull out the people that people will get a babysitter for it. But if
Yes.
it's playing in some dump,
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, that's hard to get to. You're playing at midnight and it's a Tuesday. And so that's like my draw is terrible on a Tuesday at
Yeah.
midnight in a hard to get part of town in a venue.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
Very
whose is
fair.
great?
Listen, at the intersection of bleep and bleep, it's kind of hard to find some parking, okay?
No, it's true though what
like,
you're saying about the
played-
day,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
what
Yeah,
type of venue
like
it
we're
is.
doing a weekend at Union Stage, like the whole fan club shows.
It was also our
You do a
birthday
good job
weekend. Like
drawing.
we always try to play in shows around like big events for us now. For example, we have a single release coming up on Friday, which by the time this comes out, it'll already be over. But we're playing Comet Ping Pong, and we build it as our single release. So there's always like some fun event around the show instead of it just being like, oh, we're playing another show to get the draw.
Yeah, and I think you get something that people bring up on the show sometimes, which is like, well, what's the purpose of like having a release date, or even because like since music is just always on, it's like a faucet that's turned on all the time. So the reason that you have like dates or build up towards a date is really just to generate excitement towards something else.
Yeah.
Because for exactly the same reason you did. Like that's why a lot of times when people have like a release coming out, I try to send them the show. I'm like, yo, you can send the show out. So it's like one more piece of content that's not the content that you're sending out. So you're not just sending another message that's like, hey, remember that thing we've been talking around for the last 5 weeks? Hey, here's another email about that thing.
Yeah. Somebody else likes us. Here,
Yeah.
listen to this.
Right. Well, I mean, but at least like it ticks up that thing just a little bit, right? In the same
Yeah.
way, like you generates, like you were saying, like, hey, we're celebrating something. It's not just
Yes.
come see our show. It's like it's celebrating the release of our new single.
It's an event.
There's not.
It's something cool to be a part of.
It's not that
Right,
there's
it-
not a time and a place for that like Tuesday show because that's what you're doing out of town.
Yeah.
That's where you're expanding your
Magic can happen any night of the week.
played we play you played at some of these shows where you only play to like 10 people and then like one of them happens to be like Drew McGarry who showed up at our Corey House show and it's like
Oh yeah.
what the hell is Drew McGarry doing? It's just, like we didn't find out about it until like 2 months later. He wrote an article about it and we were mentioned.
Found out yesterday.
Honestly,
We found out yesterday. This happened in June. But like you never know who the hell's going to be there at a show when
It's true.
just you could think that you're playing to 5 or 6 people and then like all of a sudden that's happened so many times. So
Or if it's your stalker, and that's the night that they decided not to kill you.
well, some of those.
That's too real, Alex. Like honestly,
Damn,
I'm
I'm glad
really
I called
afraid of
that.
that.
Do you have a stalker?
No, we don't have a stalker.
don't
We
have
have
stalkers?
we have some like pretty
We
epic
have
fans.
very attentive
Yeah.
folks.
Oh, so
every
you have
now
some
and
super
then.
fans.
We have some super
Groupies.
fans that are really quite sweet,
Can
but
you make them do stuff?
I haven't tried to do that. That sounds a
They
little.
love jobs. You got to give them a
sketch.
job.
With the power of the airwaves,
Yeah,
command.
just ask them to do shit.
You are listening to StageCraft with Kinda Evil here.
Well,
Ask them to do things, like pick things
it
up for you.
happens also like I used to like promote when I'd be at Seven Drum for stuff, and now I don't do that. I don't tell people where I'm gonna be unless it's like a show where I feel safe.
Yeah, why do they need to know?
Yeah, well, because I wanted to like promote the event, be like, hey, come hang out with me. It's a really cool thing for musicians. But then we get like some super fans showing up, and then it'd be really awkward for me.
Yeah, it turns out when you say on the internet, hey, come hang out with me, then people are like, hey, I'm going to come hang out with you. And then you're like, yeah, but not like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So back to music, performance, things of that nature. Tell us about, shows that you have connected, felt that touch that you were referring to. What was the last time that you experienced something of that nature?
Man, I was gonna.
Where you were moved?
I was gonna say. Oh, sorry. Are you going to see other people's?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna retract what I was about to say.
We'll
Then.
come back to you.
What do you look for when you walk into a place and you see a performance?
Do they look like they're, the person up on stage? Do they look like they're fully into it? Do they look like they're in love with what they're doing, or
Yeah, you
putting
got a
something
point.
out there?
You
Yeah.
got a point.
If they're, if they're kind of just, hey, turning their head to the other person, like mentioning some seemingly banal ass thing, that immediately turns me off. Like I want to see them fully engaged. Be that you're playing the rock star, whether whatever level of rock star you happen to be.
I also want to add with Mason. We've talked about this in the past. So Mason is like very much into theory and will do a lot of like studying on his own into like different modes and like different rhythms, different techniques, and yada yada. So I think a big thing that you look for when you go see a performance is like, hey, are they pushing the envelope in any way? Like, how is this not like every other band? Like, what makes them unique? I hear that complaint from you the most about bands if you don't like them.
And most specifically about bassists. Like,
Yeah.
are you just doing the root note your whole life? Are you actually putting something into this because you're supposed to be
It sounds like you might have some. It sounds like you might have some philosophy there.
banjo players as well.
Are you gonna play the root note your whole life?
Yeah.
I like that. Like, is that like a constant thread throughout your
That's your bumper
existence?
sticker.
Yeah.
I think that's a bumper sticker on your car, isn't it? You gotta play the-
There's a lot of musicians and bands that really are just comfortable playing the support role, whether it's
Sure.
a root note or
Right.
what have you.
Yeah.
I think that works for, depending on the type of music and everything. Like sometimes, it's kind of just established this particular instrument is not the focal point or whatever. But I mean, at least in terms of what we do, I think we all try to, and we are good about like allowing each other to have those moments of being the focal point and try to balance that out.
But what I was gonna say is that Mason does know when to play the root notes. It's not like you're saying you never do it. It's more like, are you only gonna do that? What else?
Well, he
can
said,
you-
"Are you going to play the root note your whole life?" You got to know when to play your note, right?
Just till
Yeah.
retirement.
Just-
It's a thing that you get to do when you're a band and we share the creativity. If you're a gigging musician who's just doing, and that's just the nature of what it is. You've got to work on 100 things a year just to like survive, and you're just going into a session and like that's it. That's sorry.
Gun.
There ain't nothing. You don't have any fills in this song, bro. Like
Now, Amanda said main character energy, so let's do a little band therapy. So tell me about.
We need this desperately.
Tell me about how do you keep the egos in check? How do you personally keep your ego in check?
Should you?
Or do you? Yes. Do you? Should you? And do you? Do you? Should you?
I said that as a joke in a way, because I actually think that the four of us get on really well with each other, and it's been a constant compliment that we've received from other people. Like, oh wow, I'm really jealous of the energy within your band. Like, everybody seems to just like get along so well, and when you're in the studio, no one's being a diva. Like on stage, nobody is being hard to work with or whatever, and that's something I really pride myself and ourselves on, is that we do get along and we have a pretty like democratic band.
Yeah. I think I've had some diva moments.
So your band is a democracy, though.
Oh, for
Totally.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think that each person is a specialist in certain things, but in the end,
different
like,
colored Power Rangers. Like,
yeah,
That's
see, that's what I'm saying.
Nice.
It's like main character energy, but it's all complementary to
Each of them could
to what
hold
I'm-
an episode on their own if they had.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we all want to be the Pink Ranger, but
I want to be
we take
yellow.
turns.
I don't know that that's
yellow.
Shut up,
The
Millie.
blue was a little more of the royal color. I like that blue on that Blue Ranger. So then, how do you keep do you have to keep your egos in check? Do you find that you allow each other the freedom to express your egos in a creative way?
yeah, I think we can. I don't know. I was going to say for myself, like, I'll get a little bit diva, but like, I recognize I cannot achieve anything close to this without each of these three people right here. So
It's
like,
beautiful.
I don't know. Christopher's.
Can we have a group hug?
Yeah,
That's right.
I felt like
This therapy session worked. Christopher's a beast, and we've really felt the difference since he's been brought on, and he's
Hell yeah.
incredible. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Even if we,
He brings the evil to kind of evil.
that's right.
But at the same time, I don't enjoy seeing a band where players are very reticent. I want each of them to have an ego and to, step forward at different times, maybe even step on each other's toes a bit in a very jovial way, then kick.
I think we're all good about.
Yeah.
We try out, express ourselves. We take the critique. We take the we present things to each other. We listen and we try to react to it and come up with it. It's like we're each the, vice president of our individual department, but nobody's got 100% control. So we just kind of try to see, okay, if all three of them have this kind of reaction to what I'm doing, okay, it's time to pull that back. I think that's.
I think we really take a lot of time to think about our set list and the flow and what's happening, and then we find those opportunities and like present it as a program. Like, okay, like this is going to be your thing and that's your thing, or like I do a thing during this one part, and then that's because it's sort of a lull, and I have the ability to do that, whatever it is. But taking a lot of time to not just like, okay, here's the same set list. Like we're thinking about how that is coming across and who we're playing with, and does it work with that, and are we first, are we second or third? Like, thinking about your performance and then really structuring like how we can all kind of, pop in and out. We take a lot of time to think about that, like, and it's different almost every show too.
Is there any song you've had to cut where it's like the like turnaround or some part of it just never synced up and like you guys are arguing? Have you ever had that moment where you're like, what do you mean you don't know you're missing that one or whatever? You guys, like, is it always happy dory?
I don't know about
Yeah, pretty much. I think.
We cut a song at Fort Reno because everybody was taking too long before.
But I think we've never cut a song like permanently like that. Like what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like,
Are you
I
saying?
think that gets cut on the jamming room floor.
Yeah.
Before it progresses.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite band argument is the one where you have the play it like you played before. I am playing it like I played before. No, that's not what you played before. And then you get into the no, it doesn't sound.
Well,
like
we
that.
record every practice, so there's
Smart.
no to tape.
Much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I
First thing
can I give you all a compliment? Because I'm curious about you. You all play steady. Like you have a fair amount of shows at a steady pace, versus some of the bands that we have on. They're pretty sporadic. I would say like once every 90 days. It seems like everyone is like kind of like the pace at which you all seem like you're more at least monthly. And then sometimes it'll even be like 3 shows in a quick succession. How do you feel that informs the playing? 'Cause I hear you talking about making the playlist, structuring things. How do you feel like informs you as you're, putting together a stage performance?
Well, I don't know if we are playing monthly quite anymore. I think we are slowing our pace on that, at least locally.
in DC.
Locally. But we are trying to expand our range out. But I do think it's important to play often because every time we play, especially like in a row, like these little kind of tours we've been doing, I feel like we get tighter and tighter, and the I don't know, like the way that we perform just gets like more professional each time too.
Yeah, and if something happens, some technical difficulty or a moment where I was not on the ball ready during a transition or something like that, then it only makes me want to strive that much better for the next night if it's coming up in the next few days. Like I can particularly think about improving in these areas. So
Yeah, I want to be on stage as much as humanly possible.
You are listening to StageCraft with Kinda Evil here.
You make the truth hard to believe. You make the truth hard to believe. Slipping in between the cracks underneath, feeding on the things
only way to do it is to do it. Like the Beatles, yes, I'm bringing up the Beatles. You know, like the reason they were the Beatles was partly because of the playing just constantly in Germany, like that practicing and screwing around at home or even together is never gonna do that same thing of like really doing the thing, really being there, feeling the feelings, putting the pressure of performing. It's, you know.
I also
There's
feel
not a substitute to that.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
much as you practice at home, it doesn't.
Oh, for sure.
The stuff that goes wrong on stage, the little weird things, the like little bit of time that you got to fill because somebody's, you know, which pedal's not working today. Like that all adds up to just like having some experience of doing that quick thinking in front of people live.
Yeah, you
And-
just
Yeah.
can't practice in your practice room working with the crowd.
And it's all for me. It's all for that. You do everything throughout the week or month or whatever it is to like, you know, I'm a musician and I'm working social media and I'm doing blah, 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 and I'm trying to promote my thing. And all of that sucks. But being on stage for that 45 minutes, just like
Hell yeah.
falling out is what it's all worth. That makes it all worth it. Because the rest of the time kind of blows.
That's why
Yeah.
little kids take up the drums.
Hell yeah.
Really, that
well.
release.
I was also gonna say that for me personally too, though, like the local shows have become a bit of a security blanket, and I feel pretty comfortable when I play locally. Like this is my hometown. I know kind of who's here, even if it's not our friends and family, but I kind of get DC, right? Like I get the people. But like for instance, we just went to Nashville on a little tour, and that was so scary for me. I didn't know what the city or the town was like. I didn't really know the people, and I got a little bit in my head. I think overall we made it work and it was fine, but I was so in my head, and the more experiences I can have like that, the better.
Well, this is a therapy session. Can you talk just a little bit about what's in the head? Like when you say in the head, can you describe?
Oh, like they don't like me. This is Nashville. This is a music city. Like they know I'm a hack.
You start
This
telling
is
yourself lies,
this
yeah.
is like scary stuff that pops up for me.
Yeah.
Like I'll have these really high highs. I'm like, yes, we are amazing. Like we're doing all this stuff. Like we got all these like releases coming out. Like my vocals sound so good now. I'm reaching like new heights. And then all of a sudden we go to Nashville. I'm like, you are a piece of shit.
Posters.
You are sweaty. Like you don't know how to like lead this band.
Everybody in that room is sweaty, though.
Have you
Yeah.
tried,
They don't
have
know
you
we're
tried
hacks.
recreational drugs?
Yeah.
They don't know we're hacks.
Recreational drugs works.
They make me more nervous.
It doesn't work for me,
Yeah.
man.
Wow.
I can't. I'm like my best playing or best singing, best playing is when I'm sober. Straight up.
Yeah, that's like
2 beers is key.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean,
Beers was key, but honestly, I mean,
I don't care. Straight edge.
Another sun, another moon, another dream, I'm dead. And when I rise, my limbs still ache, but you're there in my bed. You hold me close in hand just like a little bird. But in the morning I fly away with no hope of return. Come, taste my love. Come, waste my love. I don't know what you do to me. Your face, a TV screen, it flashes all your fears. Stand by, electrify the wires in your beard. I wish I could turn you on as if I didn't know. You're the plot twist in my favorite show. Come, taste my love. Come, waste
see if we could get the results the Russians have gotten, and that leads to my own particular interest of the past couple of years, which is a special kind of photography. It's a photography that's been around for about 85, 100 years, but was relatively ignored until somebody in the Soviet Union named Kirlian developed an apparatus that could take pictures of human parts of the body or metal or leaves, and he found out that there was emanating, using this electrical radiation field photography, emanating from the leaf or the human being, what in old parapsychological terms was called an aura, but which the Russians don't like that kind of word. They call it a bioplasma body. I don't know what to call it. I think America...
You're listening to StageCraft with Kinda Evil here.
Try some drugs, kids.
Wahoo! Tune in, turn on, drop out.
Hell yeah.
What you're saying, that is an exact 180-degree contrast to a band I'm thinking of back, and this is a long time ago, so I can mention their names, Urban Verbs, who decided not to play locally and to play only outside the city shows because they felt that was the way to get noticed.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely increasing our out-of-town shows.
I think it's impossible to know what will get you noticed. So do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a gamble.
Well, give us a little rundown. Again, this is a therapy session. I want each of us to go around the room and talk about when we say we want to be noticed. I want us to share what we mean by noticed. What do you mean by noticed?
And don't include nudity.
Unless you think it'll help. Unless you think it'll help. So when you say noticed, or
Try everything.
or making it, or getting it, or going there, you know, what's the step? What do you see?
To me, continuous growth is there is no end goal. There's just growth. So just more people listening, more people liking it, people having any idea that a bass was even there.
Well, let me throw this. Well, that is a good thing, right? But let me throw this out there. Like, so if you want to play in front of a lot of people, you have to either have something that no one else has seen, be the best at something that anyone's ever seen, or probably have been doing it a really long time, right? So of those three, you know, are you like, would you be willing to put in the effort that would require it to? Because no one's going to give you $20,000 unless you want to play in front of 50,000 people, 40,000 people, right? Something like that. Is that like where you're thinking you want to go?
I don't know if I have the end goal kind of mindset. I think there's other people in our band who are going to have a better answer for that. For me, it's more about like just doing my job better, sounding better, getting to play for more and more people. I don't really like.
So you're going to get there by Zen.
The chances, well, by improvement, by
That's all
self-improvement.
good. No, that's legit. What about you? What about you, Cowboy?
This is difficult.
What is getting
for me.
there, making it?
I think for me, like, I've wanted to strive for just, I don't know. I've had like very personal experiences with little bands on Bandcamp, and, you know, from bands that never blew up or grew to be anything. So to me, it's not so much about being noticed or like getting to, you know, this many thousand people in a stage, whatever, anything like that, but just casting a wide enough net that there's some fans out there that I'll probably never hear about, but that will just like fall in love with what we put out there.
I mean, it's legit. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
So you want a super fan.
I want a super fan, not like Amanda has. Exactly.
What about you, Amanda? What about you? What's making it? What's the getting noticed?
I want to be playing stadiums. I want to quit my day job. I want to do this full time. That for me is making it.
Yeah.
I want to be a rock star.
So you want to be. So you want to get up in the morning.
The day job
you want to get up in the morning, make music.
Yes.
Eat lunch, make music, go to the show, go to bed, make music.
That's what I want to do. I just want to make music. And, you know, realistically, too, like, I know there's just a million musicians out there. that's why you gotta be a little crazy. You gotta like have that hope that you can make it, can do that thing. And so I just like get up and I'm like, bitch, you crazy. Every day. Like, it's okay. Like, that's what you're gonna need to do. But whatever. The other thing is realistically, even if we were just like getting massive sync deals and people were listening to us that way, and I got to make music and produce and release music, and that's all I did, I'd be happy with that too. But ultimately, kind of like Mason said, I just want to be performing all the time. There's nothing like it.
You gotta enjoy the ride up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I definitely second the quitting my day job thing. I hadn't really thought about it in
What
that
about you?
context, but
You
yeah,
could do
that's
that.
absolutely the goal.
Yeah, nothing's stopping you.
Nothing. Yeah.
What's your making it getting
it's
there?
Like, it's two sides of the coin, because the one side is that you're creating something that lives on well past right now, or like even your own life. Like, I mean, how many musicians do we just like? How much music do we listen to of people who are dead, and we still listen to them?
It's a
that's-
small list though. Like,
that is
there's
the-
tons more artists that don't get listened to. So it's a challenge too. Like
Well,
to be immortalized.
My point is that you get to make something that will go beyond your physical self. At the same time, you're expected to play the thing your physical self, right? So like I take like, okay, I need to be as good as as great as I can possibly be live, but then also like write great songs and like perform well in the studio and like be like something that's even sought out, in the studio. And this is like the total drummer take, because like, like we can bounce around and do that kind of thing. But like some of my favorite drummers, like Hal Blaine, is just like on like a million different, nobody,
Wrecking Crew.
like some people that like who the hell is that guy? Right? It's like, well, check it out. Like, he's on every Beach Boys song there is. So it's like that kind of thing. I don't know. I like being kind of the possibility of being this sort of like weird footnote of like, oh yeah, that guy was on like, or like Josh Freese. Like Josh Freese is like everything from the '90s, but he's also like been the guy that can just jump in on a minute's notice and just like play a whole tour with 311 when their drummer like broke his arm. Like, it's just like there's something incredible about that. And that's what I kind of strive for. Is like, can you really like build both sides of that same, I don't know, that same persona, or whatever. That's my goal.
Even if they don't know your name as a footnote, man, just like they might hear your song 1,000 years from now. Who knows?
There's something great about that.
Yeah.
It's immortality. I mean, that's what music's like in a certain way. It's just, that's what.
And also, as Amanda mentioned, you have to be a little crazy too. I mean, people like seeing crazy, especially on stage.
Spectacles, yeah.
Spectacles, a Bonham type of person that that does crazy things, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of them get into drugs, because it lets them do that. They get a release from themselves.
This is good life advice.
What?
That was life advice from Don Z, everybody.
The Zen master
Do
himself.
drugs.
Take a couple
Do as many
pills.
drugs as you can.
Try some.
You're listening to StageCraft with Kinda Evil here.
Try some drugs, kids.
Tune in, turn on, drop out.
Hell yeah.
If you were gonna, I would like everyone to rank their favorite drugs in order from best to worst.
Mushrooms number one.
Okay, someone's wearing some delightful smelling cologne.
Might be my Tom's.
It's my natural musk.
You? Do you have it?
No. I just
That
We are an
damn
especially
Tom.
sweaty band, I
Delightful
will
cologne.
say.
There's a wonderful musk in the air.
I'm wearing cologne. I biked over and I did not want to offend.
What is the cologne? Is it like an
It is
antiperspirant?
Rockaware.
There's a
cologne
waiting
from
pool over there.
About 15 years ago.
It has sort of a
because
stripper vibe.
I was gonna say Rockaware.
I am
It has sort of a
not a
Throwback.
high class man.
Oh, I picked up a Dracar Noir because that was
Oh,
big
of
in
course.
the 90s.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
Ran
That'll
out
get
of
you laid at
Sex
the prom.
Panther.
Right. Between
I know
1999.
I mean, not now.
91
No,
and
don't.
99. Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form are we saying anyone should get laid at the prom now.
Not at our age.
So you guys are siblings. Whenever I've played with, I have an older brother who's also a bassist, and in different bands. Like things are generally really awesome, but then like this guy knows how to like push my buttons. He knows how to twist that dagger, and like, what's your working relationship like?
I feel like we I don't know, we've locked in through jamming for years, and for like years and years Mason and I played, and we like never learned how to play a song. And so I think we've like in general when starting to work on a song together, we just have a good groove going already. And then when we disagree, we can butt heads every now and then. I mean, just recently I think at the practice space with Christopher, like we butt heads a little bit, we have attitudes, but we both carry that genetic rage a little bit and both understand it very well. So like,
now I'm not trying to start any shit, but I notice you're nodding your head a lot while he's speaking and looking out of the side of his eyes. You can blink if you're in
Let's
trouble.
explore this.
Yeah. Are you?
oh, I forgot I don't have my sunglasses on.
Exactly. You can let us know if you're in trouble. It's,
We don't. That thing you said about like pushing each other's buttons, I honestly don't think we ever try to do that.
Right.
Like we're about 6.5 years apart in age, so we didn't have that like real rivalry thing.
yeah. You probably never sat on his head and farted on it or anything like that, right?
Oh no, that type of shit for sure.
okay.
But there was nothing he could do about it, so there was no rivalry. I was just a tyrant.
This
does explain the looking over and the nodding now.
There has to be a
Because that was the
hierarchy.
dynamic that I was getting. I'm glad that, and second of all, the fact that your brothers is just coming up now in the therapy session tells me everything that I need to know.
There are not often. There have been occasions where Amanda and I just kind of like glance at each other like real quick.
Let them work it
No
out.
one knows. No one's ever seen it other than the two of us. Where we just go.
We have like gotten way more like rage induced over arguing in Vegas whether a street was perpendicular or parallel to the
Oh,
street
sure,
we were
yeah.
currently
It's
on.
parallel.
Yeah.
And so,
That's all that is.
you know, we just know that like this will all pass. Like
It's just a matter of degrees.
yeah.
Yeah. That was after spending
Math joke.
about a month and a
Oh,
half in
I
a
didn't
car,
even
a Hyundai Accent together. So it takes a lot for us to
Quit
like,
bragging.
fully go.
110 horsepower
Now, wait, listen, it had roll down windows. So
and a non-working stereo system.
that's right.
But getting back to the questions for interviews, what would you never like to be asked? What don't you want to be asked because it's so inane and stupid that
I hate being asked like, "Well, what are your biggest influencer? What are your favorite bands?" It's like I listen
favorite
to
bands, yes.
At this point, I don't even know if I like the music I'm listening to because I'm doing. It's like it's research.
Right.
Like the stuff that I listen to that I want to listen to is just like I'll put on like, Kind of Blue or something and just like have it like there it is or like Crank-Band or something like just so like I can have some peace in my brain. Because I feel like all we're doing is like looking like trying to book a show and like trying to find another band. Is like, is this band good? Like, would this band draw? With this band? And you're just like listening to so much stuff. You're like, do I even like this stuff anymore? Or am I just kind of trying to find? Or I mean, it's just like a job.
I kind of feel like you have like 2 or 3 different radio shows going on inside here right now.
Was that the topic?
Yeah.
I feel differently. I actually don't mind when people ask that because then they're like, oh, I like what that influence that you have. I want to check out your music now. And so that for me is the purpose of the interview question. So I guess like I said I had a big ego, but actually I take myself out of my ego there and I'm like, okay, this is not for me. This is for whoever's listening to this thing, what's useful for them.
That's a good perspective. Yeah.
That's what I look. That's how I look at it.
That is really astute. That's really astute.
Although there's a difference between favorite bands and what are your influences or something, or like what did you
Sure.
draw on for this particular?
For the favorite bands thing, that's so hard. I just try to say like I'm currently listening to.
I think sometimes too.
That's a better one. I am currently listening.
Yeah.
Right.
So
like reading.
Like, but rank your
This
top
is the thing,
5
dude. This
like,
is
I can't
PR.
rank anything.
You can rephrase the question.
I want to know like
Spin it.
so like I want to know like
Yeah.
so like when I want to know like the first song that you ever memorized, but I don't want to know like, oh, it was the Beatles or oh, it was like Dave Clark 5 or something. It's like, oh, I got really into the blank song from Sesame Street. Like that's the kind of shit that I kind of want to know about. Like the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like those kinds of songs. Like I'm curious, like what songs do you remember from
I
childhood?
remember so many jingles.
They got like wedged in your brain.
My memory
Like
is
local
so
jingles are just like something that I'm never gonna like. I'll just
What jingle comes to mind?
GL Perry Variety Stores, and we got something for you.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Step in time, a step in time. some chimney sweep place.
Yep.
I use Empire Carpet, the jingle to explain swing.
That's
to
good.
like beginners. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
because everyone knows that one.
Yeah, that's
What would make an interview question bad? Though? I'm really trying to like struggle. Like,
Well,
I'm open to any question.
I think not listening to the music at all is pretty insulting. But I understand because, we all got shit to do, right? But like, I think that's fairly insulting. Not being aware of like, even like day one, because like it's okay. I mean, we've all rolled into interviews without doing like a ton of research, but you got to know like a bare minimum or something like that. And like I think that's what makes a question bad. But PAP questions, like they're generally kind of shitty. But it's up to the band to sort of like twist those into like interesting things sometimes.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
But sometimes a PAP question is because I can't think of something better.
But it's again goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning is like I want the band to entertain me. So maybe it's a boring question, but like what can that band do to creatively answer it?
It's just jazz, baby.
Yeah.
Bop, 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 yeah.
I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
All else does get naked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
Too much nudity talk here with my
No, not
brother
enough.
right
For
next
radio,
to me for me
yes.
to be
Not-
For the record, too much nudity talk. Yes.
Action.
not enough nudity swing.
Exactly. I
We
think
could start a movement. Nudity on stage.
Have you ever raise your hand if you've been to
Write a pact.
Raise your hand if you've been to a nude beach.
No, I feel like
Come to
no.
our shows.
This is an Asian thing.
Buy 5 tickets.
You do not ask for something and then expect not to pay back in the future.
Sure.
I will never ask for a
Pay
favor.
them back with our art.
You pay them
I don't.
back with the.
I don't know, man. I don't like it.
The secret adoration. I admire you from
fan
afar.
enjoys doing something that
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. Like if it's a reasonable request, like hey, I love the pictures you take and you send me the photos or whatever. That's fine. But
I mean, I was
Depends on
who
the
was
pictures
this?
of what.
I was a band back in Norfolk.
Really? Yeah. That's like the full Three Stooges suite. The Three Stooges overture.
Oh, those cats are not happy.
They're a happy cat.
No, there's not. And there's no dog at all. So, I mean, there's a mosquito and a cat, but no dog.
It's unfair, really.
And it's called Sound Bites. They're missing a cross-branding opportunity.
You gotta buy the you gotta buy the deluxe version for that.
Mosquito mosquito doesn't really bite though, does it? It's more like stabs and suckles. Face stabbing.
Oh, yes.
It does stab you with its face, right? Has anyone been to a nude beach?
Been near one.
I've made it a nude beach.
Every beach is a nude beach for a certain amount of time.
Nude beach of one.
We're on a nude beach.
Nah.
When was that?
Oh, I think we were on it.
No, yeah, we were. We
Yeah.
were. I do remember being
Weren't that many
uncomfortable.
people, like, especially after I took my clothes off.
All the children screamed and ran away.
so going back to the music real quick.
Yes.
Please do.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that we actually recorded the first demo of our song Teeth at Inner Ear
Hell yeah.
with Wilfredo. Wilfredo was very
shucks.
generous
Shout
to stay late and help engineer that session.
You're great to work with, and I really appreciated having Michael around to kind of just, pick his brain, see how he sets up the session. And one of the things I enjoy with an artist is when they're self-reliant and like capable of, taking care of business. And I'm more of a passive, leader from behind. if the band is like ready for that. And you guys worked hard, and you stayed late, and you got the job done.
Thanks, man.